There is a truth about men that most of the world does not want to see. It is hidden under silence, buried under pride, and kept inside the heart like a heavy stone. This truth is male vulnerability. It is the part of men that hurts, that feels fear, that cries in secret, and that often gets denied by the world. Society tells men to be strong, to be unshaken, to never show weakness. But inside, men carry wounds. And when these wounds remain unseen, they shape the life of every man. The Stoics knew this reality well. They lived in a time where war, loss, betrayal, and suffering were daily facts. They saw men bleed, men fall, men weep, and men rise again. For them, vulnerability was not shame. It was truth. To live is to hurt. To breathe is to risk. To love is to be cut open. Stoics taught that we cannot escape this. What we can do is face it. We can stand with courage before pain. We can turn wounds into wisdom. We can accept that being human means we will feel sorrow, and that this sorrow is not a curse but a teacher. Yet men today run from this truth. They mask it with noise, with pride, with empty bravado. They hide it under work, under money, under shallow power. They pretend they are made of steel, but steel breaks when bent too far. A man who never admits weakness becomes fragile. He grows bitter, he grows angry, he grows distant from himself and others. And all because he refuses to see that vulnerability is part of strength. The Stoics told us strength is not about never falling. Strength is about rising after the fall, calm and steady, with greater insight than before. Look at Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. He ruled an empire, led armies, and carried the weight of millions of lives. Yet in his private writings, he confessed doubt. He spoke of fear, of pain, of the pressure that crushed his spirit. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." His words were a confession of vulnerability. He admitted that the world was too big, too harsh, too cruel to control. But he also declared that the mind, the inner citadel, is the place where a man can stand free. In this, he showed that to admit weakness is not defeat, it is wisdom. But here is the problem. The modern man believes that to admit fear is to lose respect. He thinks tears make him less of a man. He believes silence about pain proves strength. This is a lie. A dangerous lie. Because what we hide grows heavier. A man who never speaks of his pain begins to drown in it. He loses his sense of self. He grows hollow. And when his silence breaks, it often breaks in rage, in violence, or in despair. The Stoic answer is not to deny pain, but to face it with reason and calm, to say, yes, I hurt, yes, I bleed, but I will not let this wound rule me. Vulnerability does not make a man weak. Denying it does. A man who hides his hurt becomes its slave. A man who faces his hurt becomes its master. This is the core of Stoic strength, to admit what is real, to stand before truth without shame, to know that the soul of a man is not ruined by tears, but by lies about those tears. When we lie to ourselves, we lose power. When we face the truth, we gain it back. The hidden truth is that every man is vulnerable. Every man fears loss. Every man carries sorrow. Every man longs for love and dreads betrayal. Every man wonders if he is enough. These are not flaws. These are not signs of failure. These are signs of life. The Stoics remind us that life is fire and storm, and the man who survives it does not do so by being unbreakable, but by being able to bend, endure, and rise. So, when the world tells men, do not cry, do not fear, do not feel, it tells them to cut away their own humanity. This is why men today are lost. They live as half-beings, armored but empty. The Stoic path is not about empty armor. It is about the soul made strong through truth. It is about standing inside the inner citadel of the mind, calm and steady, saying, I am vulnerable, I am human, but I will not fall into despair. I will hold my ground. This is the hidden truth about male vulnerability. It is not shame, it is not weakness. It is the ground of real strength. And until men accept this, they will never be free. The question now is simple. Why does the world fear male vulnerability? Why do so many demand silence from men when they suffer? The answer is power. A vulnerable man makes others uncomfortable. He reminds them that life is fragile. He exposes the truth that strength without struggle is an illusion. And society does not want to face that truth, so it trains men to bury their pain. From childhood, boys are told, stop crying, be strong, don't act weak. These words sound simple, but they shape a man for life. They teach him that his feelings are dangerous. They convince him that showing fear or sadness will cost him love and respect. By the time he becomes a man, the lesson is complete. He has learned to wear a mask. He hides behind work, behind jokes, behind anger, behind silence. He looks hard on the outside, but inside he is breaking. The Stoics warned against masks. They said that a man should live in truth, not in lies. Epictetus taught that when you pretend to be what you are not, you chain yourself. You become a prisoner of other people's approval. You start to measure your worth by how well you fool the world. But when you embrace truth, even painful truth, you stand free. Vulnerability is truth, and truth is freedom. Yet many men resist this lesson. They believe the lie that showing pain means weakness. They believe silence is safer, but silence is not safe. Silence eats the soul. When men lock pain inside, it grows until it poisons them. Depression, rage, violence, addiction, despair all rise from silence. The Stoics knew this. They said, if you want peace, do not hide from reality. Look it in the face. Vulnerability is the doorway to that peace. When a man admits I am hurting, he does not collapse. He begins to heal. When he confesses, I am afraid, he does not lose strength, he gains clarity. When he says I feel sorrow, he does not lose respect, he finds freedom. This is why Stoics saw courage not as the absence of fear, but as mastery over it. Courage means acting in spite of fear. And no man can act bravely unless he admits the fear is there. Think of a soldier on the battlefield. He feels terror, his heart races, his mind screams to run, yet he steps forward. Why? Because he does not deny the fear. He accepts it, then moves beyond it. This is the lesson for all men. Vulnerability is not the enemy of courage. It is the soil where courage grows. Without fear, there is no bravery. Without wounds, there is no healing. Without loss, there is no wisdom. But men are punished for showing this side. Society laughs at tears. Women often say they want vulnerability, but when they see it, they recoil. Men judge other men harshly for confessing weakness. And so the man who shows his heart is left feeling exposed, mocked, or abandoned. This pain drives him back into silence. Yet the Stoics would say, let them mock, let them recoil. Their reaction does not define you. The only judge that matters is the self within the inner citadel. If you stand in truth, no outside insult can destroy you. Marcus Aurelius wrote that life is short and men waste it chasing approval. He said that the opinion of others fades like smoke in the wind. What matters is whether you live by reason, by truth, by virtue. A man who hides his wounds to please others betrays himself. A man who shows them with calm strength honors his own soul. This is the power of Stoic thought. Vulnerability embraced is not weakness, it is honesty, and honesty is the root of strength. We must understand this clearly. A man who denies vulnerability is a man who denies his humanity. He becomes cold, distant, and blind to his own heart. He loses connection with others. He lives in fear of being found out. But the man who accepts vulnerability becomes whole. He does not need to pretend. He does not need to prove. He does not need to wear masks. He walks in the open, steady, unashamed. The hidden truth is that vulnerability is the bond of all human life. It connects man to man, father to son, brother to brother. It connects man to woman, lover to lover. Without it, relationships become hollow, built on masks and games. With it, they become deep, real, and unbreakable. The Stoics understood this. They did not chase empty power. They sought inner power, the kind that grows when a man accepts life as it is, painful, uncertain, but full of meaning. This is why the Stoic path calls men to courage. Not the courage to deny pain, but the courage to face it. Not the courage to appear strong, but the courage to live in truth. Male vulnerability is not a curse. It is a call to live without lies. A call to walk the path of strength rooted in honesty. A call to rise above the shallow world that tells men to be steel, and instead to be human strong, not because they never break, but because they always rise. Now we must look at what happens when a man dares to live with vulnerability. What changes in his life? What shifts in his heart? The answer is powerful. A man who accepts his pain gains freedom. A man who names his fear gains clarity. A man who admits his sorrow gains strength. Vulnerability, once embraced, becomes a doorway to growth. The Stoics said that life is a training ground. Each day gives us lessons. Some days teach through joy. Many days teach through hardship. And hardship always cuts the deepest. But pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher. Vulnerability allows us to hear that lesson. When a man says, I feel broken, he begins to see the cracks in his soul. And through those cracks, the light of wisdom enters. Look at Seneca, the Stoic thinker. He lost wealth, power, and even the trust of his emperor. He wrote letters filled with sorrow, but also filled with calm. He did not pretend to be untouchable. He admitted the weight of his suffering. But he also said, the man who has run through many misfortunes is truly safe. Why? Because he had learned. Vulnerability turned his wounds into wisdom. For modern men, the lesson is the same. If you hide your pain, you learn nothing. You suffer in silence, but the silence teaches no lesson. If you admit your pain, you see it clearly. You can ask, what does this pain show me? What truth does it reveal? Pain becomes the fire that shapes the iron of your spirit. But here lies the danger. Many men who open themselves once and get hurt, close forever. They say, I will never trust again. I will never cry again. I will never show weakness again. This is not Stoic strength. This is fear disguised as strength. The Stoics teach us not to close, but to remain open, to remain human, to accept that pain will come, but that it cannot destroy the soul unless we surrender to despair. A man who lives with vulnerability begins to see life differently. He no longer fears loss, because he knows loss will come. He no longer fears betrayal, because he knows betrayal is part of human nature. He no longer fears death, because he knows death is the final teacher. By facing all this, he becomes calm. His calmness is not coldness, it is power. It is the strength of a man who accepts reality and still stands tall. This is why Stoics spoke of the inner citadel. The citadel is the fortress inside the mind. It is the place no one can invade. The world can take your wealth, your family, your body, even your life, but it cannot touch your reason, your choices, your inner strength. Vulnerability helps you build this citadel, because when you accept your wounds, you stop fearing them, and when you stop fearing them, nothing outside can enslave you. Men often think that by hiding weakness, they protect themselves. In truth, they weaken the walls of their citadel. They build on lies, and lies crumble under pressure. A man who admits his weakness builds on stone. His fortress stands, because it is built on truth. And truth does not fall. Imagine two men. One hides his fear, denies his tears, acts strong while breaking inside. The other admits fear, faces it, speaks it, and learns from it. Which one is truly stronger? The second, because his strength is real, not a mask. Masks fall away in storms. Truth stands through storms. This is the hidden truth about male vulnerability. It does not destroy manhood, it completes it. A man who accepts vulnerability is more of a man, not less. Because he is whole, he does not cut away half his soul. He does not live in shadow. He does not fear his own heart. He embraces it. He commands it. He turns his pain into power. The Stoic life is not about escaping hurt. It is about using hurt to grow. It is about standing tall in storms. It is about rising after each fall, stronger, calmer, wiser. Vulnerability is the soil where this growth begins. It is the fire where this iron is forged. It is a truth that most men hide, but the few who face it rise above the rest. This is the call of the inner citadel. To accept pain, to accept fear, to accept sorrow. To accept that being human means being vulnerable, and to know that this truth, far from weakness, is the key to strength. We now reach the final truth. Male vulnerability is not a burden to run from. It is the key that unlocks true power. A man who accepts this truth becomes unshaken. He is no longer ruled by fear, no longer chained by silence, no longer trapped by lies. He stands clear, steady, and free. The Stoics never promised a painless life. They promised wisdom in pain. They promised strength in trial. They promised calm in storms. This is what vulnerability gives. It does not erase suffering, it transforms it. It takes wounds and turns them into wisdom. It takes loss and turns it into clarity. It takes fear and turns it into courage. This is why the world hides this truth. Because if men understood their vulnerability, they would no longer be easy to control. They would not hide behind masks. They would not chase approval. They would not bow to lies. They would live free, with steady hearts, unshaken by the chaos of the crowd. And free men are dangerous. Free men cannot be ruled by fear. Think of Marcus Aurelius writing late at night, surrounded by enemies, weighed down by duty, broken by loss. He wrote not as an emperor, but as a man facing sorrow, fear, and the certainty of death. Yet his words are calm. If you are troubled by anything outside, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your judgment of it. This is the voice of a man who knew vulnerability, but refused to let it enslave him. He did not deny his pain. He transformed it into wisdom. The modern man must learn the same. Do not deny pain. Do not bury fear. Do not silence sorrow. Stand before them, name them, face them, and then master them. This is the path of the Stoic. This is the way of the inner citadel. To hide his weakness, to face his strength. Every man will suffer loss. Every man will know betrayal. Every man will face failure. Every man will feel doubt. These are not curses. These are teachers. Vulnerability is the doorway through which these lessons enter the soul. If you close that door, you remain blind. If you open it, you see, you grow, you rise. A man who accepts his vulnerability is not less masculine. He is more, because he is whole. He does not deny half his being. He does not pretend. He does not live in shadow. He lives in truth, and truth is the foundation of real strength. The Stoics built their lives on this truth, and so must we. What does this mean for the man listening now? It means you must stop running from yourself. Stop hiding behind pride. Stop pretending to be steel. Admit your fears. Admit your wounds. Admit your doubts. Then rise above them, not by burying them, but by mastering them. This is the path of power. The world will not thank you for this. Many will mock you, many will fear you, many will reject you, but their judgment is smoke. It fades. What remains is the man within. The man who knows himself, the man who lives by reason, not by lies, the man who builds his fortress on truth, not on masks. That man is unshaken. That man is free. This is the hidden truth about male vulnerability. It is the core of Stoic strength. Without it, you are half a man. With it, you are whole. Without it, you live in fear. With it, you live in freedom. Without it, you wear masks. With it, you wear truth. And truth is stronger than any mask. So, stand tall, admit your pain, speak your sorrow, face your fear. Let the world laugh, let the world scorn. You will not fall because you have built your citadel on stone. You have chosen truth over lies, courage over fear, wisdom over pride. and in that choice you become untouchable. This is the call of the Stoics. This is the call of the inner citadel. To face life as it is, to embrace vulnerability, to rise through pain, to stand unshaken in storms, to live free, steady, and strong. The world will never hand you this freedom. You must take it, you must claim it, you must live it, and once you do, you will see the truth. Vulnerability is not your enemy, it is your greatest teacher. It is the fire that shapes your soul, the storm that builds your strength, the shadow that makes your light shine brighter. Embrace it, and you will never be ruled by fear again. This is the hidden truth. This is the Stoic way. This is the power of the inner citadel. Smash that like and subscribe button if you learned something. Welcome to the Brotherhood.